He was educated in the Norfolk public school system, where he attended Tanners Creek Elementary, Camp Allen Elementary, Northside Middle, and graduated from Granby High School. Mr. Dillard earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science in 2012 and is currently completing graduate work in the field of urban affairs, and both are from Norfolk State University. He was appointed Chairman of Housing and Community Planning for Unit NSU chapter in 2012, and in April of 2013, he was appointed Chairman of the Economic Development Committee for Norfolk. In September of 2013, Mr. Dillard was appointed Second Vice President for the Norfolk chapter of the NAACP. He serves as a prominent and active member of Mount Gilead Missionary Baptist Church in Norfolk, Virginia, and is currently a commissioner on the Mayor's Commission on Poverty Reduction. Mr. Dillard is an activist for the citizens of Norfolk, as is recognized in his many political duties and accomplishments. We consider it a great pleasure to have him speak to this generation of world changers and thank him for taking the time to do so. We welcome now Mr. Joe Dillard, Jr.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? I'm going to be speaking to you guys today. I know your parents came to support you, but as a younger individual, I have a lot of things I want to share with you today. Hello, scholars. It's finally spring, and I'm glad to see most of you made it through the most recent ice age. I know you're all excited about this weather, so I'll promise to be as short as possible, no matter how long it takes. I'm here today because I want to talk about what it means to be a member of the National Honor Society, what it means to be a leader. In 1981, a small man named Du Guang Chang moved from South Korea to California. He was a poor man. He left Korea with a wife, 2 daughters, and a will to work. When Du arrived in California, he was forced to work 3 jobs at the same time to support his family. He was a janitor through the night, a gas station attendant during the day, and a coffee shop employee in the mornings. Du worked like this for 3 years, being in character and setting an example. There was no one around to force Du to do what was right, or make the decisions to make his dreams possible. He made those decisions on his own and eventually saved enough to open a small clothing store. Du and his wife did not stop there. They continued to work hard and set an example. And that one store grew and grew. Now that store is called Forever 21. Du did not allow others to tell him what he was to become. He decided to become his own leader. And that's one example of the impact working hard to become a leader can have on our lives. Right now, Russia is on the other side of the world, pushing its forces onto a smaller neighboring country called Ukraine, without any regard for international law. The president of Syria is forcing his own citizens to starve Syria's capital because they disagree with his violent practices. In Uganda, same-sex marriage is punishable by life in prison. And 529 Egyptians were recently sentenced to death for the murder of one police officer. This is not leadership, scholars. This is cowardice. You see, when Du left South Korea, he had more in mind than himself. His family was important, and his values were as well. It was important that we understand that leadership is big, bigger than you and me. It is important because you are the future leaders that will keep our world free and safe for all people. I'm sure you hear that you are our future all the time. Well, I have to tell you something shocking. You are our future. Possibly. I'm not sure. All of you will graduate soon, and everyone will look at you to show leadership. Your peers will look at you in college, even in your freshman year, to decide whether what you're doing is right, whether they should go to class, whether they should volunteer. They will look at you to decide what type of person they want to be. Do you know why that is? That's right, because you all are our future leaders. You've always been leaders, and people have noticed it. They look at you because you understand what it means to set an example that will never change. People will always look at you. The only question is, what example will you set? You all will be college soon. You will have your own dorm rooms. They'll probably be the size of your lockers. It'll be familiar, but you have your more independence. You'll be able to turn up, do your name there or whatever. But no one will tell you that you have to go to class or study. No one will force you to give back to your community through service. So will you? As our leaders, will you show the character and leadership it takes to do those things on your own? Will you take your future into your own hands like do? I know the answer to that question, and you do too. As we have established, you're our leaders. But I'm here today because I want to make sure you're asking yourself that question. I want to make sure you understand why those smart people with the National Honor Society decided to ask you to become a part of the legacy of the National Honor Society. It's because whether you like it or not, we're looking at you. We want to know what you're doing so we can know what we are doing is right. We want to know how to treat people, how to deal with challenging forces, and what to do with our free time. So, I want to ask you to work 3 jobs at the same time over the next 3 years, or start a multi-billion-dollar clothing franchise. But before I step away, I will make sure I tell you one thing and ask of you of another. First, congratulations, you're well on your way. I look into your eyes and see our future legislators, our future professionals, and our future period. You're doing great. We're all proud. Secondly, how would you lead? Would you lead with cowardice, or would you lead with character? Because we're looking for your leadership. I want to thank you, inductees, Principal Day, and I'm honored to speak for you all today. Great job.